And she started off that way. She's like, I'm not hiding anything. Say it. As soon as Jen kept on like, Tamra, be careful. Tamra was like, it was cue the, you're never going to see me again. I almost was waiting for her to jump in the bushes.
I know, me too. That's exactly where my mind went.
I'm like, where's she going?
I know. And not only her reaction, Jen's reaction says a lot too. When she gets a napkin thrown in her face, she doesn't stand up. She doesn't throw a drink. She doesn't get crazy. She sits there calm, cool, and collected. Like she was like, in my opinion, like, especially for a newbie, like Miss Jen over here is giving like OG level, like, you know, expertise. Like the girl literally threw Tamra some stuff. Like I would just be careful. She didn't even drag Tamra. She didn't say anything personal again. Like she just said, I would be careful. And Tamra loses her mind. And then Jen gets the napkin in the face and she's just there. And she was not fazed. Like, in my opinion, that kind of like dynamic, Jen really won that argument, if you ask me. She got Tamra rattled. Tamra reacted horribly. And Jen kept her cool. In my opinion, like Tamra fully lost that argument just based on how she handled it altogether.
Well, unfortunately, I think it's like, it's almost like when you're arguing with somebody and somebody takes the first blow and they like swing at you or something like that, you automatically lose the conversation. Like you lost it. And this, it was the equivalent to on some franchises, they would be like, oh, that was assault. Yeah. That napkin was assault. And I'm talking to legal and you're off the show, bitch. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like some people on some franchises, they go in and they're like, I got you. I got that reaction. Okay. Did you watch What Happens Live last night or no?
I did not. I went to bed.
Oh my God. I just want to say this really quick. So Jennifer Pedranti was on with Vivica A. Fox and her boyfriend Ryan was front and center in one of the Oprah chairs. It's called the Oprah chair because it's a recycled chair from the Oprah show. I was wondering myself, guys, but getting back to it, he was like, oh, I have a statement for Tamra that I haven't said yet. And Andy's like, oh, okay. And then he pulls out this hat that says hashtag DCK instead of DICK. And then pick, meaning for the whoever your old does a dick pic. And he's like, so you can give that to her, Andy. And it literally did not land. Ooh. Andy looked at him like, okay, moving on. And I was like, oh, this is so embarrassing, man. He didn't laugh at it. It wasn't entertaining. He's not going to let you diss Tamra. They have all of their money in her right now for this franchise. He's not supporting it. Nothing.
Okay, and here's my thing with that, girl. Like, if I was Jen and if my man tried pulling out some shenanigan like that, especially when it's a joke on you sending a dick pic and also your reputation being like a serial cheater, and it almost feels like you're basking and like your bad behavior being put out on Front Street on this show, and like you're trying to have a moment for it. And I would just be so embarrassed. Like I would not like that at all. It's not your show. Yes, you are a hot topic of the show, but you're not the show. And if you're trying to capitalize off you sending nudes and being a cheater as something cute and funny and shady, Jennifer, girl, I don't know about this. Like, it's just not looking good, if you ask me. It's not looking good.
And Jennifer knew he had the hat, right? You don't just like... So it's like, I think she was just letting him have his moment to see how it landed. Now I bet you this morning she's like, fuck, why did I let you take that hat?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, yeah. And I like Jennifer a lot, but girl, yeah, this man, he's got some red flags. Let's say that. You got
to reel his ass in, Jen. Reel him back in. Well,
definitely.
Or just let him back in the OC. Whichever one you choose. We're supporting you either way. But while Jen and Tamra are trying to figure this out, meaning Tamra is trying to figure this out, and Shannon's chasing her around, and they're getting more shots, and she's telling some guy at the bar to go get some snatch, is what she said. We have another argument that's going on at the table, and this time it's here.
Mm-hmm.
So Gina and Emily decide to both go in on Heather and have this. They wanted to get it off their chest. We think that you have been absent. We think ever since Tamra got here that you switched up on us. We think you talked a lot of crap about her, and now all of a sudden you're BFFs. We think that you've been condescending. We've seen a few signs showing that you have not necessarily been the best friend. The way that Heather handled this, I thought, she's like, oh, well, hold on real quick. No, Heather, let me talk. Okay, I'm going to let you talk. Listening. Well, hold on, just to let you know, I'm also going through some things too, and I hear you, and I apologize for that. I would never mean to make you feel that way. You said your son was going into real estate, and I am a woman in my 30s, and that's condescending, Heather. It's not condescending. Just because you chose to go in your 30s into real estate and her son is starting at 18, you're at two different stages. There are people, what?
Honey, this was actually laughable. Trying to see Gina and Emily come up with excuses as to why they should be mad at Heather was laughable. First off, Emily trying to comfort Heather and say that Heather's being phony and this relationship that she has with Tamra is not real and blah, blah, blah. Okay, Emily, if you don't recall, because the screenshots showed it in last night's episode, along with many other episodes, the entire time that Tamra wasn't on the show, she was trashing Emily so bad in the press, saying she shouldn't be on the show. She brings nothing.
Called her Shrek.
Emily had the...
Or somebody called her Shrek. It was either her or Kelly Dodd. I don't know. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Yeah. But she had Emily had the prime opportunity when Tamra came back to really like settle their differences, get to the bottom as to why Tamra hates Emily so much. And I thought Emily didn't do that whatsoever. She let that pass. She got buddied up to Tamra the second that Tamra came back. So she's going to try and tell Heather that Heather's being all buddy with Tamra. Heather and Tamra have like real friendship, like a real history with each other. So I thought Emily was completely projecting her own issues with Tamra onto Heather, which like didn't make any sense to me because I just don't get it. I'm like, Emily, you have been kissing up to Tamra this entire time. Heather hasn't been. Heather's been the only one this entire season so far to say, Tamra and Shannon, I felt left out from you guys and you ruined my trip. Or you didn't ruin the trip, but that was the lowest point of the trip. Heather's been the only one to even speak up to Shannon or Tamra this entire time. Emily hasn't done that. And Tamra was actually talking crap about Emily. So that didn't make any sense to me. And then Gina bringing up all this stuff that she's like upset about with Heather was a lot. When she brought up the Nikki comment, she fully lost me. I was like, really? You told her that you're going into real estate? And Heather was like, oh my God, my son's going into real estate too. And you're going to try and take that as a dig? Like, Gina, please. And then what solidified this was the fact that Heather just sat there so calmly, apologized for absolutely everything. She apologized for things she did not need to apologize for, in my opinion. But she did it anyway just to be nice, to keep the peace, and to be a respectable friend. So, in my opinion, if I was Emily or Gina walking out of that dinner, I would be embarrassed trying to create this issue with Heather when there is no issue with Heather. And she shut it down beautifully. That's just my hot take.
I would be like, I'm going to stop buying your ass's Nobu.
Yeah, I mean, 100%.
No more Nobu.
Yeah.
It's like you're spending so much money on these women, and every time you don't make it to the meal, they literally all like rip you apart. Now they're waiting to pop out with this whole Terry cheating scandal. That's coming soon. So there's a clear takedown and divide here. Mm-hmm. And for Gina, I did feel like this was a reach. I felt like this was sort of, I have to figure out my spot, how to solidify my spot. Who do I need to fight? This is the person. I'm going to go after Heather. I think it felt easy. I think it felt comfortable. And I think that Tamra is a loose cannon on the show in the sense that if you go up against her, there's not a filter. She's not going to, like, Jen's like, I'm not going to say that. I won't do that to you. Tamra does not have that. It does not exist. So if there is something that she knows, oh, it's coming out on the show. You know what I mean? So I think that some of them don't want that problem with Tamra because that makes her a liability.
Absolutely. And personally for me, I thought Heather was so nice to Gina and Emily all last season. We saw at the beginning of the season, Heather was the one trying to build an actual friendship with Gina, and Gina's the one who ghosted her. Now Emily and Gina are trying to say that Heather hasn't been a good friend. Where are they? They are reaching. Like, they are really reaching here.